Good morning, everyone. So I was thinking about it the other day, and everybody knows how lean Chris Froome really is. He's not as lean as he was last year. Last year he was super lean, but I wanted to talk about, do you need to be as lean as Chris Froome to win the Tour de France? Or your legs, and just in general, do you need to be as lean as Chris Froome to win the Tour de France? Well, obviously, the leaner you are, the less you weigh, but the training has to be there, your power to weight ratio. You know, when I first went plant-based and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get super lean, I'm gonna get super fast, I got some results, but I wasn't necessarily riding, and so therefore, I wasn't necessarily beating people that I knew uphill that were bigger than me. There was guys that were pretty big compared to myself, but they were beating me up the hills and they were just doing better. But these guys they're riding and they're training. So if you're putting in training, regardless of how heavy you are, you can still get results compared to somebody like me who's super lean. But when you're training, you're gonna get the results. But then when you're training and you're dropping the weight, you're gonna get extreme results because your power to weight ratio is gonna be better. Now, Chris Froome, world-class athlete, the dude knows his stuff, so technically he could probably put on a few kilos and still ride away from the peloton. But super lean. So when I was looking at some stuff from the tour, I noticed Paul Polanski, and his legs are super vascular, and it was talking about why exactly his legs are so veiny. So I thought we could just talk about that really quick, and I was just reading this article, and it was talking about after stage 16 why were his legs so vascular, and they're super veiny, and his legs look pretty damn lean, pretty close to Froome's. I'd say maybe his quads are a little bit bigger, but is he finishing ahead of Chris Froome, or is he even near Chris Froome? Now, on stage 16 he finished 1 minute 43 seconds behind the leader who won, and man, his legs are just insane. So this is exactly what happens in all of us after we exercise in warm conditions. You just can't see it because most of us have more body fat than Polanski, which is true. Even myself, I'm pretty lean. I don't know if I could show you guys, not necessarily my waist, but my legs are pretty lean. Pretty damn lean. And I don't get super vascular, but man, this is just nuts. But anyway, so it says he's about 6 to 8% body fat. He looks pretty damn lean. So professional rider has little to no body fat, probably no more than 6 to 8%. But plenty of riders are very lean, but we rarely see legs with bulging bloodlines like that. Is he on the gas? That's up for him to tell you. Probably not going to get that answer. But a physiologist, Jamie Pringle, said it's just as important as leanness that our athletic adaptations are in the vascular system. In athletes, we see exceptional vascularization. That means greater non-visible capillarization within the muscle, but also greater visible vascularization at an arterial and venous level. In other words, a pro cyclist expands both supply of oxygenated blood to the muscles and the extraction of deoxygenated blood via veins back to the heart and lungs. Let's see, so he just finished 165 kilometers, 1 minute 43 seconds behind Michael Matthews, who won the stage. said his leg muscles had been screaming for blood for hours. So a super adapted blood supply network is no great advantage in itself, nor does it account for super veiny legs. The major factor is having more blood, and we're not talking a few blood drops either. The difference is substantial. So typically an untrained person has around 5 liters of blood, typically around 50 to 70 milliliters per kilo, 5 to 7% of body mass. A world-class endurance athlete can have 2 or 3 liters more in total, and as much as 150 milliliters per kilo, 15% of body mass. Quite simply, Polanski has twice as much blood in his body compared to the average Joe. So that's what they use to explain the bulge of veins in his legs. Now, is that true? Who knows? But it is intense, and like I said, man, you could be super lean. I've seen dudes that are just all like just lean, not even like any fat, but don't see the legs like that. So what do you guys think down below? Do you think it's full natty or full gas? Let me know what you think.